So, hello everybody. Um, Kaji here, and as you see, there's a little something different tonight. um, Still learning to get the basics of this down, so yeah, Scuff is the name of the game here tonight, but yeah, we're on just chatting mode right now. Move a little towards the center, shall we? So, we're looking right at the camera. Okay, good. That's kind of takes a little bit getting used to. You want to inclined to look to the right here a little bit. Say, okay, what's the status of everything? Oh, there it is. Let's put that down just a little more, shall we? But like we are saying, got this brand new model here to show off here, which is courtesy of Rana Noi there, who has been wonderful to the channel here. So yeah, shout out for her, and we'll go ahead and shout her in again later on during the night as well. You know, if we get a few more people showing up. But no, Raina drew and rigged this one, so Mama, Papa, whatever you want to call it. Point is, she is the sole parent of this model. And we're very grateful to her for it. So, yep. Hi, Mama. Yeah, as people say, family trees get kind of interesting there after a while if you think into it too much. Like, yeah, and you're your own parent, for example, stuff like that. But no, I'm really pleased with how this turned out here. Yeah, so still working on little bits here and there, like trying to figure out how to get the green screening stuff to work precisely, but I think we've got the gist of it. Um, yeah, but let's see here. Also been working on adding a couple of features here to capture a little bit of the kind of trademark Kaji stuff. So, for example, okay, there. Hey, that's even right about the right size there. So, yeah, got my cap there now, so have those kinds of elements in place. Also have an upgraded version that includes my usual headphones I use. Okay, yeah, I've got it doing a window capture. I need to figure that out. Um, Actually, let's go ahead and try that real quick here. What the heck? Heck, not the game scene, not a new scene. Of course, I'm using Streamlabs OBS. I really ought to learn regular OBS one of these days. Thank you, Mama. Thank you. Yeah. Okay, yeah, because I'm not seeing game capture here. I'm seeing video capture. Would that be it? Exactly. Image, browser source, image slide, window, audio display, color source, media source, text, audio, video, and scene. Ah. Ah. Yeah, because I did see the option there on the thing here to. No, we didn't want to do that. Yeah, I think it was here where it had. Yeah, exactly that. The allow transparency thing there, transparent in capture. Couldn't green screen it because we actually have green in the model here, so it's like, ah. Okay, check DMs. Checking. Display. No, it's literally not there for me. I'll go ahead and send you a quick screenshot of what I got. Da. I think this might be another case of Mac versus PC version. Yeah, you might say we got robbed a little bit there, yeah, but yeah. Kind of used to figuring out creative ways to work around small things like that every now and then. Um, oh, okay, wow. That was a little trippier than I thought it was, just getting a sip of my drink there. Mm. Yeah, so. And then, let's see here. Right, just one moment. I tried using blue and it was getting quirky about it before. That was my first instinct as well. Let's try blue again anyway, I guess. Yeah, having done some video productions, like, okay, before green screen, there was blue screen, so. Alright, so we do that, and we try changing the filter here. Edit filter. Okay, so key type blue. Yeah, actually, that's working a little better than it was when I was experimenting earlier. Okay, not bad, not bad. There we go. Yeah, no, I was getting some really weird stuff earlier when I was experimenting with blue, but I think that's actually got it there. So, yeah, much better. Yeah. One thing I've learned about streaming is that sometimes you just learn stuff on stream, much as you may try to avoid doing so, if that makes any sense. But yeah, and while we're doing shoutouts here, by the way, as well, um, and we've got some background music, as people might have noticed here, as well as intro music. And that was courtesy of our friend Kurai Kuromu. So he's done some excellent work. He's given me this track here as our intro and background music for our general purpose channel streams here, but especially the Japanese themed ones. And I've got a couple of other themes that he did for us as well. One for more dramatic moments along the way over here, and another one that's going to be a bit of a livelier version of the base stream intro there to help get people pumped up a bit. So just for fun, let's go ahead and I'll throw both those on here just to let people hear them. Yeah, so here's our dramatic music coming right up. Yeah, no, it was a really great experience working with Kurai. He's a really great guy and has an excellent musical sense there. really great experience working with him from start to finish. Yeah, okay. Let's see. There we go. Sorry, yeah, it wants to drop it at a certain level when I first put it in there. But no, his prices were absolutely reasonable. The experience was great working with him from start to finish, and if I need anything else, I'm certainly happy to go back for more. So. Okay, I might need to get a straw or something here, because otherwise I look like I'm on drugs every time I take a sip. It's really kind of weird seeing the lag here, watching the live version of the stream here. It's like, okay, so there we are. The eyes are like this far back, and woo! Hi, Dusk. Thanks for joining us. So, as you can see, we've got our new model set up here. And we're showcasing some of the new background music as well. So, this is the music that Kodai did for us, so. No, we're just glad you're here. Hi to you, welcome! Start to see all of our old friends show up. It's nice to see you. Yeah, Reina Noi, of course, is well known around these parts for our great cheer emote there. Was very kind and, was trying to think of, wow, I've been ping tubing this for a while here, how hard would it be to maybe make a basic model out of this? And she's like, not hard at all, and did a wonderful job pulling it together. So. Oh, and I need to update Nightbot because it's not a music night. Nah. Authorize that. Turn off that timer. But yeah, no, very, very grateful to you, Raina. You've been a real blessing to this channel. We really appreciate it. Yeah, let's see here. Yeah. And as Raina was pointing out when she was doing some training with me on how to do it this morning here, obviously doing extra assets isn't that hard, so we've done a little bit. Although actually I just realized I should, of course, show off, obviously the cap here is very nice, but yeah, don't want it to hide the real exciting thing here. Look what we got! Yeah. No. The more I play around with this, the more I love those things, so really glad you threw those on there, Anna. Yep. Now, and the eyes are working beautifully.
Yep.
Yeah. How's that for you? Now, one thing about the eye tracking is if I go and open my eyes really wide, and, I can get them to go like that. My eyes are literally about that wide when I'm trying to do that. But I've noticed that I can kind of get the eyes into a bit of an in-between state sometimes. It's kind of like, oh man, I've seen some stuff here, if I like right about there, that in-between state. And it's like hard to maintain right on it, so it kind of just adds to the effect, doesn't it? Hey, New, it's good to see you too. Yes, it is. What about? You know, Raina, people have been asking me that question for years, and I was a person that never actually did any drugs or even alcohol growing up. And so it's one of those amusing things where, like, I had a cousin visiting from California once when I was 18, and here I am, long curly hair, literally down to my belt, um, tie-dye shirt, jeans, and round purple sunglasses. The outfit I wore when I was picking her up from the airport. And she took one look at me, and her first thought mentally was, "And this guy doesn't do drugs?" But yeah. uh, but yeah, all kinds of fun. No, no, no. I've never really even experimented with any of that stuff. I've gotten pretty darn drunk a couple of times over the years, but not habitually, and just enough to have a story or two. Hey, great to see you. Great to see you. Uh, yes, that is serious. Really, no drugs. Thank you, Cha Cha. Hey, Rebel Kitty, it's great to see you too. So we were just showing off some of the features of the new model here from Reina, which, yeah. So like we're saying, we've got the awesome glow sticks here, and been working on a couple of additional assets just to play around with it. Um, so let's see here. Move a little bit more towards the center. By the way, one of my favorite features of this thing is how I can just roll, and it just rolls right along with it. So, yeah. You're thinking something was a redeem. What? Oh, I forgot to add that tag to the stream. I better do that real quick. I'm still learning how to make the most of the tags. So please, if anybody has ideas on that, feel free to drop them in. But yeah, it's our first time actually legitimately being able to throw that in, so shouldn't leave it off. Okay, yeah, we can throw AMA on there too. This is kind of just becoming a bit of an intro stream after all. But yeah, so let's see here. What else have we got? Yes, I know who you are, Dusk. It's, yeah. Yeah, we've been chatting a whole lot on Twitter lately. Besides, he gave me a heads up on what your Twitch handle was, so I'd be able to spot you. So, it's good to see you. Yeah, let's see here. Little gift courtesy of Mama here. So, jam along on the classic bass there. Yep. Yeah, is that a bit of the wave that you were looking for there, Rana? Yep. And then, let's see here. Just playing around with ideas a little bit as well. I went ahead and did another one that looks like the one I play most of the time on my streams here as well, right on down to the sticker even. So, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, hey, yeah, 2 at once even. Yeah, hey. Let's see here. Yeah, so, what else did we do? Yeah, like I said, we did the cap of the headphones as well here, so. A little bit there, right about there. So, I'm no great graphic artist, as you can tell by the quality there, but. But now, it's all working out pretty nicely here. And actually kind of realized too that if I take this in, oh, hey, we want to lock all that down, don't we? Maybe, there we are. We put it off to the side here. We can kind of do our whole instructor thing there with, waving the wands and things like that. Pretty easy. Oh, thank you, Cha-Cha. Yeah. So since we did throw the AMA tag on here, I guess if there's any questions people have been wanting to ask, feel free to throw them at me. Yeah, those eyes definitely. Yeah, I've been having a lot of fun with them actually. Like I said, No. They're great at capturing a whole lot of expressions there, so. Yeah, let me check on that setting actually, now that you mentioned it, Raina. I remember where it was. Okay, let's go ahead and say always. Yeah, okay. I thought I was going just a bit crazy there, but okay, that explains it. But no, like I said, I love how expressive it gets, even for how simple everything is. It fits with style, but it pretty much captures exactly how I'm looking here a lot of the time. As Raina knows from seeing, the raw camera footage of me, hamming it up for this while we were testing it out this morning. So, let's see here. We've been running the somewhat more dramatic background music there from Good Eye here. We have another track as well that is intended to really pump things up here. Due to the way that OBS needs to want to throw things in here, you might want to bump your volume down for just a second here in a moment. I'm going to drop it in right now. This is going to be our new opening music for the bass streams here. So if you're already familiar with the relatively peaceful track, acoustic track we have for that one, here's our new take on that coming right up. About a good level there for enjoying it. after I'm sending that over. Get a little bit of that odd opacity error that I was talking about before, but yeah. Amazing how many layers you get in OBS sometimes. Hey, New! Congratulations on finding the first redeem there. Not just the hat's transparent, all of me is transparent there. Like I said, it's part of the way that the color key has been working for some reason. Yeah, we can go ahead and pull up the color key on that again here, see how it works. With the black background before, it wasn't showing too much, but... yeah, so... yeah, a little ghost takoyaki, right? Maybe that's a little better. Now, adds a little bit of a blue tint, but... price we pay, I guess. Alright, we'll go ahead and go with that then. But now, thank you for finding that, Raina. It really helps set the mood, doesn't it? That's good, Chiara. That's good. That's good. Yeah, I've actually got a few more backgrounds that are on commission here coming up, but no, this is great for in the meantime here. So, yeah, I've got some stuff to try and get a bit of the you know, kind of classic Japanese stage performance kind of look there to help with the teaching and you know, performance type stuff. Okay, you know what? Yeah, that is too good to pass up as our stream title here. We're changing it. All right, title updated. Ah, okay. Jugimu, you got it. Jugimu, Gokon no surikeri, Kaijari Suigyo Matsu, Unarimatsu, Furaimatsu, Kuneru Tokuni, Sunu Tokuro, Yabura Koji no Burakoji, Paipo no Shurigan no Gurindai no Pompokopina, Ponkopana, Chokyume no Chosuke. All right, enjoy, New, enjoy. Yeah, I've done so much practicing on that one recently. That did kind of come out fairly effortlessly, didn't it? Okay, I'm feeling like I'm missing something in chat here. Following along, and suddenly I'm not. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's for the best, though. Yeah. That's an interesting way to approach that one. Oh, oh, oh. Okay, now I get it. Now I get it, Dusk, yes. But, you know, there are always worse things that you can get stuck in your head, Dusk. I don't know. Feliz Navidad? Yeah, Feliz Navidad. Prospero año y felicidad. Um, But yeah, no, Jigamo has been a redeem on my channel for as long as I've had redeems, I think. Yeah, helps to keep that one in practice. Yeah, that rate's an F. I agree. Yeah, especially all through October. Don't get me wrong, I have no problem doing Christmas songs early, but certain ones, it's like, yeah, one or two times is enough. So, on that note, chat, anybody do anything interesting for Halloween, or got anything interesting planned for the holidays coming up? Yeah, for the Christmas ones, summer ones. Okay, yeah, I can see that. Hey, at least it's good stuff though, right? Right, Dusk? Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun there. Hopefully the bus is more comfortable than the last bus I rode on. I've ridden buses up and down the east and west coasts at various points of the time, so yeah. There's certain spots you're certain that the only reason the bus stops there is someone pays Greyhound to stop there and give them business. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, I agree. When there's motion sickness, yeah, no such thing as a good bus. I understand that one. No, thank you, Rana. It's always great seeing you here, Mama, and having a lot of fun. So thank you very much again, and yeah, again, shout out for Rana here. She's done a whole bunch of great stuff for us, and we're all ever so grateful for it. So. Yeah, let's see here though. Um, hmm. And it was one of those things I was kind of debating working out a formal lesson tonight, but it kind of got distracted along the way with all the trying to get everything else sorted out here. Still have a few technical details to figure out. Let's see. Oh, let's see. Ah, hey, Doc, it's good to see you there. Do we have holiday plans? Ah, that's a great question. Um, so, let's see here. Did Halloween, we spent afternoon playing games with the family and then went and caught streams, friend streams here at home afterward, once all the trick-or-treating had wrapped up. Let's see here. Thanksgiving, Christmas will both probably be spent over at the parents' place. We don't live that far from them. The question is, will we be able to get family to come in from out of town? Right now is a little bit doubtful, but we'll see. Yeah. Yeah, Dusk, I was kind of wondering for just a moment there myself, because it looked like the chat was taking a little while. Yeah, I was kind of. I'm watching the chat live here, the same as you guys, but there's a little bit of a lag, obviously, between that and the other to begin with. But suddenly the chat wasn't updating for a while. It's like, should I wait for it or? Kingu, thank you for joining us. Thank you. I'm glad to have you here. Yeah, no, we've been having a lot of fun with it. Really loving how expressive it is. Rana did a wonderful job with the eyes in particular. It's like, if I go open them up real wide here, you can get that, kind of really shocked look. And, if I'm really precise about it here a little bit, I can kind of get that in between. Oh man, have I seen stuff kind of look going with it. Which, since it's really hard to maintain exactly that position there, it's like, oh wow. Just adds to the effect a bit. But yeah. And the glow sticks are something we can turn on and off, but they're just so much fun to have out there. All right, will do, King. Thank you for stopping in. Yeah. Oh, let's see here. And like we were saying earlier here, just in case anybody missed the last shout out for him, the music you're hearing tonight is some of the new background music that we commissioned from Kurai Kuromu, who it's been a pleasure working with him from start to finish, and his streams are a lot of fun to drop in on as well. So, yeah, the headphone kind of suddenly becomes an eye patch now and then, I've noticed here, because of the way it attaches. I'll go ahead and go back to the hat without the headphones here, I think. So. Or if we wanted to go ahead and, be all academic for a change here. I did go ahead and do the more, scholarly type of thing here. Which, hey, May go ahead and switch to that. We're actually in full teacher mode here, because then we can go ahead and, take everything off to the side here. Up that way. We want to drag the model, not the hat. There we go. And now it's like, hey, look at this, We got our little pointer stick and everything there. But yeah. Something that feels right at home, having my actual cap in there, I will say. There. Much better. And rolling back and forth and... Hey. We're just debuting this model here. Let's not talk graduation yet, please. What do you want to be when you grow up? A little ball of dough with a piece of tentacle inside, I guess. Nah. It's really fun being able to finally, join the fun with this here. It was very nice of Brandon to agree to go ahead and rig this up for me, so having a lot of fun with that. I just realized I have the Vtuber and IRL tags on here, because I think I had the IRL tag on there from the music streams. Oops. I'm definitely going to stick with this model here as my main thing for all but my music streams going forward, and I might even still have it running in the corner on my music streams. The thought here was to go ahead and work on eventually commissioning a, full-on, more humanoid model and keeping this as a chibi redeem afterward, but, we'll see how the channel evolves, I mean, if it becomes that this just takes on such of a life of its own, yeah, that's good too. Yeah, no, I'm really pleased with how this turned out. No. Humanoid Takoyaki, wouldn't quite be like that. Now, I've got a few ideas in the other, but they're not, well, to pardon if you'll excuse a bit of a bad pun here, those ideas are half-baked right now. Thank you. Again, Reina did a great job with it, and I love the expressiveness of it. Imagine seeing an IRL moving takoyaki. Ooh. Yeah, especially if the taco's a little too fresh, right? Just, popping around like a jumping bean or something, Sorry I'm not talking much. I'm in chat. I'm typing a good copy of my final project for school that's due tomorrow. I get that entirely. That's not a problem, Duck. Glad you're here and just hope you're having a good time. Let's see here. Human-sized taco. Yeah, I could see that being a little on the scary side for sure. Yes, it is, Dusk. Yes, it is. So, buff taco slaps units just grin. What do you do? Oh boy. Oh boy, yeah. Tentacles, yeah. No. Well, I guess the first part of that is we need a girlfriend, so, nah. Let's say we'll deal with that when we come to it, eh? Oh, well, thank you very much, Dusk. I appreciate the signal boost, and, point taken there, point taken. Alright, Kino works, that works too. Yeah, actually, it does make it a little easier because having Dusk and Duck in one chat, it's like, yeah, let's see if we're gonna have our bass music running in the background. We may as well actually have our bass out, shouldn't we? All your bass are belong to us. For all you old people out there to remember that one. A little off to the side here since we got that. Yeah. Ooh, curry duck sounds good. Haven't had curry in general in way too long. Probably ought to make some up soon. It's starting to get cold out this way. It's like 40 degrees out right now. It's going to get colder, so. Oh, and before anybody freaks out on me, because I had this happen earlier, I think with Kino. That's 40 degrees Fahrenheit, 'cause we're here in America, so, you know, like maybe 3 degrees elsewhere. You know, cold is one of those things where if it's going to be cold, it better darn well snow to make it worth my trouble suffering through it. No. I've had points in my life where it's been so cold, you're bundled up, you know, wearing everything you own, and you're still feeling the cold penetrating all that. So, yeah. Yeah. I'm in the I'd much rather burn than freeze camp. It should be around 10 degrees here, still shirtless, living in Canada, so, okay. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Oh, wait, there's two different people there. Hate the cold, so I live in the cold for 8 months of the year. Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Okay. I'm not going to get too specific here, but let's just say that I live in the DC-ish area. So, you know, where I live, snow is a bit of a treat when it comes, so we get it, you know, maybe once every couple of years. We seem to have this weird bubble where all the interesting weather kind of just goes around uh, our city instead of like coming through it. But yeah, I can imagine that up in Canada where you're dealing with snow literally 6 to 8 months out of the year, that's a little less exciting and a little bit more drudgery. Yeah, I think the last time it snowed here was 3 years ago. Yeah, I know that feeling. Yeah, and it's like, okay, so, they're calling for snow, they're calling for snow, they're calling for snow, and the three counties around you all get snow, and you get a day of freezing rain. No, but one of my favorite winters ever was my first year away at school, um, where for just going into Thanksgiving weekend, which again in America here is like the fourth Thursday in November. Going into Thanksgiving weekend, we got 3 feet of snow. Um, Over the course of the time between Thanksgiving, leaving for Thanksgiving break, and leaving for Christmas break, it was fairly clear. It all melted and refroze into a foot of ice. On top of which, over Christmas, we got another 3 feet of snow. And then we continued to get more snow through January. And so half of the classes in January were just straight up canceled. Um, yeah, and you're literally going through like waist deep snow the entire month there. I mean, even when graduation rolled about in May, there were some shady parts of the campus that still had snow on the ground. Ah, man. Yeah. Haven't had anything quite that exciting since, but that was a wonderful, wonderful winter that time. uh, yeah. All right, well, thank you for stopping in, Kino. It's been a real pleasure here, and yeah, we'll keep chatting for a little while longer. So, yeah, try and hit at least the 2 hour mark or so. But no, thank you for dropping in. It's been a real pleasure. Yeah. So, like I said, we've got the AMA tag on here. If there's any other questions people have been dying to ask Sensei about, I don't know, Japanese life, whatever, yeah, feel free to toss them out there. And yeah. Yeah. And then we wonder why your sleep is messed up. Actually, there's a good long story behind why my sleep is messed up. Um, yeah. Basically, from the time I was 17 or so, I was active on a lot of forums back at the time. Um, and, my forum friends and I have started a nightly AIM chat group, which probably already dates me as far as that goes. But, living on the east coast of the U.S., you always felt the worst effects of the time differences because, a California person stays up to midnight, it's midnight. A East Coast person stays up to midnight California time, it's 3 a.m. And East Coast person has Australian friends, they're 12 hours off, so it gets worse from there. um, And so I routinely, from the time I was 17, would be up until 5 a.m. chatting with people, and then, trying to, go about my daily stuff from there. And then when I got into college, it just absolutely spun completely out of control because, I now literally did have friends all around the globe. I was chatting around every night with them, and then I would be, doing my schoolwork during the day, doing personal projects, and then it'd be like, I a couple of times hit this really nasty loop where literally twice in 1 year I went 2 weeks on nothing but micro sleep. Just literally one to another to another to another, and yeah. The second time around, it got to such a point where I'd spent the day completely exhausted because I was in every way because I had to help be a judge for like some kind of academic bowl that we were putting on for one of the local high schools. And so here I am in no condition to be, doing anything particularly academic. And finally made it all the way through that, going to the cafeteria, which is up a set of stairs. Got to the top of the stairs, and it's like, stumbled 10 feet to the left like a drunk, 10 feet back to the right, 10 feet forward, and the only thing that's prevented me from hitting the floor was I landed on the door. It's like, okay, we need to sleep, and we slept about the next 18 hours or so after that. Basically, you ignored the physics about time zones. Yeah, something like that. But basically, long story short, is I completely broke any sense of a regular sleep schedule at that time. And it's one of those things where in the 20 years since, it's just kind of stayed that way. I've kind of tamed it at certain points, never completely broken that habit. But, I will concede that getting back onto getting started with Twitch here has kind of brought out a lot of those tendencies as well. So it's been a bit of an adventure trying to get things back under some control here, because it's one of those things where you kind of get the feeling after a while, it's like, I could manage just a little bit better, but it's like, which set of friends do I want to give up? I don't want to let go of any of them. So, yeah, it's been a bit of a learning experience here, trying to figure out how to balance everything again. But I'll tell you what, it's been one of the greatest things ever since I became active on Twitch here, because I've made more friends in the last, 4 or 5 months than I have in the previous 10 years. And as a very social person, I love it. I love it. Kato, thank you. It's nice to have you here, and I'll be sure to let Kino know. We really appreciate it. So, my name is Kaji. I do bass. I do Japanese. Tonight is a little bit of an off-topic AMA stream because we're debuting the Vtuber model here, as you can see. Takoyaki has kind of become the theme of the channel here, so that's what we are. But no, it's a pleasure to have you here, and like I said, it's a bit of an AMA stream, so feel free to ask anything you like, and we'll go about it from there. Speaking of which, I know someone had a question above that that came right as I started on my story here, so let's see. Ilchiara, if I wanted to learn Japanese from zero, what should you start with? That is an excellent question. When I started learning Japanese from zero, what I did was, first off, we got into that because, excuse me. We got into that because my brother at the time was borrowing fan-subbed Dragon Ball VHS tapes from a friend at church. This was right as Dragon Ball was starting to air in the United States. And so we were comparing the two versions, and we're seeing all the obvious censorship that was going on at the time. Thank you for the follow, Kato. We were seeing all of the obvious censorship that was going on at the time. And, yeah, I was like, okay, well, who needs a middleman? How hard can it be? So I hit Alta Vista, did a search for a kanji course, and, uh, started with the first one I found, which happened to be something that taught Japanese based on various anime clips, specifically using Magic Knight Rayearth as its source. And so I was actually skipping my Spanish classes to go study off of this. They were taking lines, breaking down the grammar, teaching you how to use them. At the same time, I was also playing a lot of SNES era JRPGs, which was nice because the NES era, one that was all kana, you really couldn't render kanji very well, and you couldn't even get the kana to look good on it, frankly. The SNES has some amazing fonts if you got the right games. And so, I was sitting here, I was literally with, reams and reams of notebook paper, copying the scripts out of there as best as I could figure out how to write everything. I was Romanizing it underneath so that I could figure out how it was pronounced. And then underneath that, I would give my best attempt at translating it. Fun thing about this is that my computer lab at school absolutely forbade games to the point where you weren't even allowed to they literally uninstalled outright Minesweeper, Hearts, Solitaire, and what was it, Spades for the other one? Free Cell. And so there was one time where the assistant lab manager came by, stood right behind my shoulders like, "This looks like a game." And I look up at her and I gesture to my binder beside me that has literally 170 pages front and back of script from the game. All transcribed and transliterated and half translated. And she just, took a look down, looked another direction, walked away, and I never heard a word from it again. Yeah. I actually still have that binder. I pulled it out on stream a few weeks ago just for fun. But yeah. Oh boy, fun memories there. But now, providing a more serious and practical answer to your question, though. Absolutely, finding something that helps to teach basic grammar is a great way to get started. I've been doing some lessons here. There are some great YouTube channels as well, such as Japanese Ammo. Misa is an excellent teacher. From there, once you have a source for learning your basic grammar, you want to, there are two things you really need to work on. One is finding sources for new vocabulary to practice, because grammar only means so much if you don't have any words to use it with. Likewise, all the vocabulary in the world doesn't mean anything if you can't arrange it in the right order, hence the reason you need grammar. Then the other thing is literally just going out and finding ways to practice it. For spoken Japanese, I am always happy to practice with people. We've also been working on doing collabs, like on Friday nights we do Japanese speaking gaming collabs with Tia Dragon, for example, which we'll go ahead and shout her out here real quick. So for example, we've done things like Portal 2 co-op in Japanese, or Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes in Japanese using the Japanese language manual, because I can read Japanese at that level. And we'll actually, have conversations back and forth on like how to defuse the bombs and things like that. And the great thing about those kinds of practices too is it gets us out of the basic hello, how are you type conversations, which is very easy to fall into, especially when you're meeting new people or if you're just trying to come up with something on the spot. It's like, oh, hi, my name is Kaji, how are you doing? pleasure to meet you. And then many times the conversation falls flat after that because you don't know what to talk about. So a game is a great way to give a context to something so you have something to talk about. Again, especially cooperative stuff. But even just having people on for banter while you're doing something else, just talk about what's going on. Another thing, too, is, you don't have to just do spoken practice. Especially with a language like Japanese, you're losing a lot if you don't learn to read it. And I know that sounds like a tall order for Japanese because, all the kanji and everything. But, honestly, you don't need to learn every single kanji out there to be able to read and enjoy 90% of what's out there. I think it's like the 90% of the kanji used are within the 500 most commonly used kanji. And that's out of a set of, 2,000 kanji that are considered essential for, high school level literacy. And, another 1,000 or so for high level stuff and, names and so forth. So, between the frequency and everything, it actually isn't really that hard to pick up that level there. And the other 10%, you'll pick up the things you need as you go along, to be honest, in many cases. Especially if you're just looking to do, things like gaming and anime, things like that. That has a very distinct and defined vocabulary that it likes to use. So occasionally, you might have to pick up specific things that, are unique to a given universe, for example, that are part of the setting. But, those in particular are very easy to learn as you need them. And, it's not like you're reading newspaper articles, per se, or medical journals or things like that. Yeah, it's good. Always interested, but never actually searched how to start. I understand. And, that was one of the things with me when I started Japanese is, a lot of people are afraid of learning Japanese because they see the written language in particular, and it leaves an impression. It's like, oh wow, there's so much to do here, and how do people do it? I'm this far behind. I'm never going to be able to catch up. Why should I start? Well, I'll say right now, I didn't start Japanese till I was 17. So, I was certainly well past any optimal starting window, shall we say, when I started learning Japanese. But beyond that, the spoken language is actually very straightforward, especially if you're not worrying too much about the honorific forms here. You're just sticking to the basics. There's polite and plain Japanese, and those are fairly easy to manage. But let's see, where was I going there? Sorry, kind of swirling around so many thoughts now. That's good. I was always interested but never knew where to start. This actually scares me the least. My problem is I fear I will mistake the Chinese characters as Japanese ones. Actually, that's not that big of an issue. If anything, that's an advantage. It's like Reina, as you may be aware, knows how to read a lot of Chinese as well, and is great at reading Japanese as a result. The thing to keep in mind if you have a background in Chinese already is that Japanese tends to favor the traditional forms of characters. Not always. There are some cases where it does use the simplified forms, like for the character Kuni for country, uses the simplified form instead of the traditional form. And there are some characters that Japanese, while it didn't undergo a widespread simplification the way Chinese did in the 40s, there was a small-scale simplification that went on in the right around 1948, I want to say, where they did adopt some forms, and there are some of those forms that are unique to Japanese as well, although I'm having trouble pulling an example right off the top of my head. The difference I noticed is the Japanese ones are more wiggly than the Chinese ones. Yes. Part of what it is with Japanese is, Japanese uses 3 different writing systems concurrently in native Japanese text. You have, first off, the kanji, which are literal Chinese characters used in Japanese. And they have their own readings, and meanings generally are, at least on a high level, consistent with what they are in Chinese, for the most common characters anyway. There's a wide range of things where it can get a little tricky, so yeah, it's a bit of a dangerous statement, I guess. Let's put it this way. Between my 1 semester of Chinese and my extensive kanji knowledge, I can understand just enough written Chinese to get in trouble. I can get the gist of what's going on, but if I try and explain something to people, I'm usually missing some key context, like, who the actual people are, stuff like that. Or it's like, saying, hey, this is not whatever, and I just see, this is this, and, this is whatever. Oh, yeah. No, I've had people tell me not to speak Chinese because, it got grating on their ears. Though there were a couple of amusing exchanges along the way. It's like, when I was on the train coming home from somewhere once when I was in Japan, I was kind of in that state where it's like, just leaning back against the glass, you're kind of falling asleep and just hoping you don't miss your destination. And I heard a couple across the car. It's like, Fagwaru? And it's like, what? It's like, I recognized his Chinese, like, Frenchman, what? And so I look over and I see they're gesturing towards me, and I immediately lean forward and start waving my hand, and it's like, busha, wosha, megworu. And they're like, oh, shoot, he heard us, And then they started trying to carry on the conversation in Chinese from there, and I apologized very quickly and explained that was the extent of my Chinese. And then we continued conversing for the next 15 minutes in Japanese. Or, for example, when in grad school, I had a Taiwanese roommate because we had a large influx of students from China and Taiwan that year. And so, knowing he was Chinese from seeing the name posted on the door there, when he arrived, it was like, Ni hao ma, wo jiao jia jia. And, that certainly got a smile out of him, especially when I demonstrated I could use Bopo Mofo from there. Not that it's used in mainland China at all, but, I'm a linguist at heart, and I love learning odds and ends like that. Oh, wow, yeah, that is a bit disappointing, I will say. So, as someone who knows Chinese, how were my tones there, out of curiosity? I mean, it's been a while since I've had anybody to really evaluate. It's like, I know wo is the 3rd tone. That 3rd tone is always the one that really bugged me. It's like that kind of little sweep you're supposed to get or something like that. Okay, well. Well, thank you for the compliment. Yeah, definitely it's a little trickier memorizing the tones and association with everything than it is in Japanese, in my opinion, but everyone has things they latch onto, to be honest. But yeah, no, as I was saying though, if you already have a background in Chinese characters, then you don't have to worry about getting them confused in Japanese. If anything, it gives you something to build off of. Um, but because the readings between Chinese and Japanese are different enough, do complements of the Chinese tones, they're different enough that you're not really going to confuse them in that regard. But like we were saying before with, actually, I'll give you a quick example word here. Chat, cooperate. Come on. Okay, it's typing hiragana and it's not letting me convert to kanji, really? There we are. Okay, so for example, those two characters I just dropped in the chat that will appear on screen in just a moment here. There we are. In Chinese, it'd be shijian. It means time. Whereas in Japanese, it's read as jikan. So you can see there's a very different tone, literally and figuratively, to both of them. Shijian, jikan. So it's fairly easy to keep them mentally separated. Honestly, I have more trouble with Spanish than Chinese, relative to Japanese, I mean. Because Spanish is phonetically identical to Japanese, except for the fact that Spanish has L. And so, for a little while after college, I taught ESL in an after-school program out in California, where there is a large population of Mexican and otherwise Spanish-speaking students. And there was one time, generally speaking in ESL, it's bad practice to use the person's native language. But every once in a while, just because, there's best practice and then there's what's expedient in the moment. This is one of those times where it's like, okay, you know what? It's the end of the day. I just need the student to stop what she's doing and listen to the program director. And so what was intended as you need to put your pencil on the table and listen kind of ended up coming out as Teburu no ue ni lapis o ponde kudasai. I told that one to Tia, and she was like, I understood everything perfectly, and I hate that I do. But yeah, basically the only Spanish words in that sentence were lapis and poner, and because I didn't know how to conjugate it in Spanish for what I needed, just like how I automatically filled in Japanese for Spanish everywhere else in that sentence, I conjugated a Spanish verb with Japanese verb endings. And to top it all off, when I was actually trying to speak in Spanish, I'd have to fight for 5 minutes to remember that it's konnichiwa, not hola. So, I was breaking the languages in both directions. So finally I just, nothing against Spanish speakers and Spanish language. It's just, I've invested so much time into Japanese, I can't afford to let this break it for me. But yeah. So, let's see here, though. Oh, now I remember what we were talking about earlier. We got so hung up on kanji, we forgot there are two other writing systems in Japanese. That's where we were. Right. Which is, there's the, obviously there's the kanji themselves, but then there's also two syllabic systems, hiragana and katakana, that basically are used to spell out words in Japanese. And they are both actually, they kind of look vaguely like kanji, partially because katakana, which is used primarily for spelling out foreign words, is literally pieces of kanji, or at least they're derived from pieces of kanji. And hiragana is derived from the calligraphic forms of various kanji. So it's part of the reason why, in spite of using 3 different writing systems concurrently, Japanese actually looks somewhat coherent, if that makes sense. No, absolutely. My pleasure. Yeah. No. I love talking language and explaining things, and while I'm trying to run formal classes here during the streams generally, I will admit I'm at my best when I'm doing kind of one-on-one coaching type stuff. So, you know, questions like that always me to, help me get moving and really do things at my best. So, having multiple people to coach is hard. It can be at times. Classroom discipline is its own beast there. But that's one great thing about teaching, adults, is that generally speaking, they're there because they want to be. Whereas, teaching children, you have to convince them that they want to be there first, and then you can start making progress on there. So Japanese and English. Any other languages? That's a great question. Um, as far as any degree of fluency goes, only Japanese and English. Um, English is my native language, obviously, and then I started learning Japanese at 17 and have been continuing ever since. Um, Other than that, I took German for 3 years in elementary school. Um, Now, it wasn't quite as much learning as it might sound, because, second through fourth grade, so they were taking it very easy on us. We learned a lot of phrases, didn't learn a lot of hard grammar. Um, I've got the basics, the general niceties, things like that. Um, and then after that, I was homeschooled for the second half of my formal education growing up. So I'd like to say my mother took 10 years of Russian, and she gave my brother and I each 5. Um, she started with Russian in middle school, primarily because it was seen as such a hard language that they didn't make students do dialogues or any kind of, stand up and read in front of the class type assignments with it. Um, and she kind of fell in love with the language from there, the way I did with Japanese. And so she took it all through middle school, all through high school, and majored in it in college. um, and so, yeah, the thing with me in Russian, though, is that European grammar just never quite agreed with me. It's like, to pull a Spanish example, because I know that a little bit more readily than Russian these days. It's like hablo, hablar, hablamos, hablemos, hablan. You see, I don't even remember all of those all that well after all these years. It's like, why do we need all those forms? Especially if we've already got, yo hablo, tú hablas, it's like, yeah. It's unnecessarily complication, in my opinion, and it's hard for me to remember all of it, partially because I didn't practice enough. um, And so, yeah, Japanese is a godsend in that regard because it's pretty straightforward. You know, you have particles, which are basically little marker words that go after this item, the nouns in the sentence to indicate their function. You know, just like case markers in European languages, except that you don't have to decline them based on, you know, number of people or masculine, feminine, or anything like that. Um, and verbs in Japanese are strictly focused on the verb, and you add endings to it to add on nuances. So, for example, taberu is to eat. Tabeta is the past tense, ate. Tabesaseta is, you know, to force somebody to eat. Tabesasetai, to want to force somebody to eat. Tabesasetakata, to have wanted to force somebody to eat. You know, you just keep adding endings on there the appropriate manner, and you can keep adding, and you can get the appropriate combination of factors that you're looking for. No. But that said, again, as a linguist here, what I loved about learning Russian was learning the basics of the Cyrillic alphabet. That was a lot of fun there. The thing is, Russian has propensity for really long words, like German does. And so there were many times when I'd be reading things in Russian where, you know, by the time I sounded out, you know, all of this, you know, 12 to 15 letter word, you know, I'd get to the end and I'd forget how to pronounce the beginning of the word. And so we'd get in this nasty cycle of trying to get the whole word in memory at once so we could read it fluently. Let's see, what else have we done here? As far as any sort of formal study goes here, there was that. There was Spanish in college, where I took one semester of that because I was looking to do a 2-year degree in liberal arts, and that required, you know, 200 level of a foreign language, and I didn't have any as far as the college was concerned. Brilliant me thinking that made that much of a difference when, you know, I was just going to transfer all that and work on my 4-year degree anyway. You know, when I could have had general studies pretty much right there. So, yeah, I took Spanish, wasn't interested in Spanish, was interested in Japanese, and so I did abysmally in Spanish. You know, where, you know, partially because, you know, I wasn't paying attention even when I was there. It's like, you know, those enamel desks that they have, you know, it's like very hard to write on them. You kind of almost have to etch things into them with your pen to really get anything. I was bored in Spanish class one time, which was, you know, it's like a 3 or 4 hour class. So I was practicing my Japanese instead, just writing things in columns across the desk. And literally, by the end of class, covered the entire surface of the desk in rather nice Japanese print, actually. The professor let me know the next time she saw me, she spent 2 hours after the end of class scrubbing that desk clean. And then the midterm, it might have been the final for that class, I guess, but we had to do a paired dialogue. And, yeah, so the girl I was teamed up with and I were doing something about, you know, trying to plan a date, for example. And it's like, okay, so we're going to meet here, we're going to go watch a movie, and so forth. And so, you know, she's asking me in the middle of our test in front of the professor here, so, like, ¿qué preferencia? And she's asking, what film do you want to see, or do you want to watch a movie? And something like that. Point is, I didn't know what she said. I thought she was asking if I had any preference. Like, oh, we just agreed to go to the movie theater, and so she's like, well, what do you want to see? So it's like, no preferencia. It's like, no preference. And it's like, and she's like, no preferencia? It's like, no preferencia. At which point the professor chimed in, and she's like, okay, miss, you can go. You don't have to worry. You you just agreed to go to the movie. She's asking you what movie, and you're like, no movie. It's like, oh. So that was my Spanish experience. Yeah, exactly. uh, yeah. Oof is definitely a good way to describe that. Yeah. Russian and German are hard as hell because my main language is absolutely based on vowels. Yeah, and yeah, they definitely have some interesting consonant clusters in them, no doubt about that. Um, uh, but yeah, as far as my formal language education goes, there's that, and then the semester of Chinese I took while I was in Japan. Um, yeah, which is kind of amusing there, actually, is the by the time I did my study abroad in Japan, I was good enough that I didn't use any English in my day-to-day life. I completely tested out of the foreign student curriculum. I was allowed to take classes alongside the Japanese students. Um, but since I arrived in the fall, it was the B semester, if you will. So, all the 101 classes had already been done, so I had to hop right into a 102. So they were trying to talk me down from that, but being my brilliant self, I was like, well, you know what? If I learn Chinese in Japanese, then I can use English and Japanese to triangulate anything I don't understand in Chinese with clarity. Same thing for Chinese and English into Japanese, and all around. It's like, this is going to be pretty awesome. Um, and in the end, we did well enough. So, amusingly, I'd had one class I'd signed up for that was supposed to be a dedicated kanji class, like just really drilling kanji there. But when I got to the classroom at the time I was supposed to be there, what I found instead was an American literature class, and the professor there had a tendency to adopt foreign students because he just loved, interacting with other cultures. And so he saw an American walk in on his American literature class. It's like, hey, I'll take care of all the paperwork. You come in here and you be my TA for this class. It's like, sure. And so that's how I ended up helping teach the Scarlet Letter to Japanese students for a semester, which was interesting because I had I had taken an English class where we did the Scarlet Letter as one of our units, but I'd read like maybe up through chapter 10 and it just never bothered. I just kind of guessed how things would go from there whenever we had to answer questions or write about it, and did well enough. But fortunately, one of the first things that came up was, he was mentioning that there was a TV movie of it that was going to be airing, and so I was like, okay, I'm watching that. Got that, just confirmed the rest of the details there, and so we were good from there. Yeah. Informally, I took some lessons in Serbian from a couple of exchange students who were doing that to help with their scholarship. And then, yeah, other than that, it's just been very informal study on a few other things. So, welcome back, Kino. Welcome back. Yes. Kato joined, so mentioned that you'd sent him, so yeah. Thank you very much for that, Kino. Yeah. Yeah, it really means a lot how excited some of you really get for these streams here, and I really appreciate having you all here. Yep, at least one person joined. That's absolutely right. Let's see here. Yeah, I was kind of having a little bit of fun playing around with this earlier here, some of the accessories, and it's like, I'll take that off just for a moment here. Maybe a little bit of a distraction, but it's like, let's pull up some here. But yeah, it's kind of like, oh, you know, the way I ended up doing the hat here. Oh, besides the egg, not the hat, please. Kind of like, well, you know, almost kind of looks like a frying pan there, you know? Maybe it's just me. So it's like, yeah. Get that gun. Yeah, it's, you know, thinking real hard here, you know? Think. Oh, could I? Hey, glad to have you here. So, again, shout out for Kudai Kuromu. He's the one that did the awesome bass loopy here in the background here, as well as the other theme music that we've been running tonight. Oh wow, with that blue chroma key there, it kind of almost looks more like a ghost floating over me than regular Steam, doesn't it? But yeah, I'll go ahead and pull the bass out there since we just came in, Kurai. And yeah, I went ahead and, you know, Reina kindly explained to me the basics for setting up assets and things like that, and teaching me how to use Live 2D a little bit here. So I decided to recreate my bass that I use on my music streams here, complete with the, you know, sticker and everything. Let's move ourselves up a little bit here. There we go, not too obscured. I still love how I can just roll back and forth like that. Yeah, I heard that Dusk was pretty hyper in your stream the other day, to understate it a bit. That's where I'm put it. Oh. Yeah. Good point there, Tomo. I was talking to Rebel Kitty here before stream, and she was mentioning that. So I might play around with that a little bit as well here, just for fun, sometime. Thank you for the little bit of cannibalism there. How do you know? Thank you. Super hyper is an understatement. Hydrate. Yes, sir. Oh, nice, Tomo. Yeah, so do you have any updates planned for your model? And forgive me if my character looks a little stoned from Roman here. He kind of tends to take that look when, whenever I take a drink here, I've noticed. Uh, but yeah, no, the eyes in particular, I really love the way Reina did these. You know, if I go really wide with them, they go to that, you know, really shocked look. But if I'm careful about it, I can kind of get that in between thing. It's like, bruh, I see shit. Yeah, it's a little hard to balance it, but yeah. There we go. Yeah, like that. Yeah, but it can't quite decide which one it wants to do. Oh, doing some horn upgrades. Nice. Yeah, and then of course, you know, we've got our glow sticks there, some we can turn on and off, and yeah. At the same time, though, yeah, I don't know, they're just so much fun when they're out, so yeah, I've been leaving them on almost as kind of using them as a de facto set of arms. But yeah, yeah, your new arms are glow sticks, exactly, yep. Yeah, I can see that, Tomo. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I was kind of wondering how glasses affected. I have glasses I wear normally for like at a distance, but I don't always need them at a computer. So, yeah, I haven't been wearing them so far this stream. But let's take a quick look. Actually, yeah, it seems to be. Yeah, it's having trouble catching my wide-eyed expression with it there. Yeah, that's like really straining it right there to get that half bit. Yeah, interesting, interesting. Yeah, I don't need to wear glasses except, you know, legally when driving. You know, I technically don't need them, but you know, my driver's license says I need it. Um, okay, orange lens. I've never seen orange lens ones for that before. Interesting. Uh, Ooh, yeah, that's pretty rough there, Kino, to be sure. That midway expression just looks like me right now with 6 hours of bad sleep, big bags under the eyes. I hear you. Yeah. If you don't wear your glasses, driver's license tells nothing. Yeah. Fair enough, fair enough. Oh. Alright, Kino's on to you, Kurai. He's gonna be making sure you get your sleep too now. Ah, Kino's a good guy, though, I must say. Yeah. Alright, well, I'll let you get to your work then, Kurai, but it's great seeing you, and again, I am really happy with the work you did for me here. It's been worth every penny. So, chat, if you need any background music for anything you're doing, or otherwise, you know, if you need any music loops for a project, absolutely the first person I would recommend to you. Hi Tomo, yeah, I just saw the DM you sent there, and yeah, wow. I've never seen glasses in that shade before. Interesting. I mean, I've seen sunglasses like that before, but I guess it makes sense thinking about it, trying to filter out the blue light and such, right? Yeah. Yeah, blue light blocking, right. Makes sense. Yep. All right, Elchiano, thank you for joining us. It's been a real pleasure. Kino's asking why there's a flaming egg on the hat. I was kind of joking around right as Kudai came in that, the way I did the hat here kind of almost looked more like a frying pan. So it's like, oh, it's really deep in thought kind of a thing there. Kind of working the brain so hard to fry an egg on it kind of a thing. So, that said, because we're blue screening this, it almost looks more like we're, we've got some sort of haunted egg thing on top of us there, but okay, that's pretty fascinating, Tomo. Yeah, no, I've had a lot of interesting things in my eyes over the years. It's amazing I can still see out of my left eye, to be honest. It's been stabbed, it's been smacked with the tuning peg on my base when the strap broke. And probably most interestingly, when I turned 14, I got a fair bit of super glue directly in the eye once. And that was saved on account of my dad having the presence of mind to spend 45 minutes under the faucet flushing it out before we went to the emergency room. Missing what, Kino? I'm not sure I quite follow you there. Aunt lost her eye when she was younger. That managed to get back. Wow, wow, wow. That's quite a story there. Uh, yeah. No, I won't ask for details on stream here because we don't want to, disturb anybody per se. But I know I had one of my great aunts growing up. Someone, she took someone shot her in the eye with a BB growing up, basically, and was kind of in the partially blind category for many, many years there as a result. Wow, yeah. I guess by missing Halloween. Well, I had to wait until the model was actually delivered before I could debut it, so it's what it is there. All I know is what caused it because it was a great. I understand, Tomo. On the bright side, it's always fun getting to know extended family like that. So, all right, and thank you, Kino, for the posture check and stretcher deans there. Wow. Now that's a phrase you don't see every day. Wow. Oh, wow. Yeah. That. Wow. Yeah, that's quite a story to say the least. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. We're not going to ask for more details than that, just because, again, we don't want to gross out anybody on stream, anybody any more than we may already have. um, yeah, the information we have here is enough for the time being. um, but yeah. So, looks like we're coming up on about 2 hours here. And I really appreciate everybody coming out here to celebrate the occasion. It's been a lot of fun. Um, so I was thinking we might go ahead and raid a friend here this evening. Here, some of you may have met Rebel Kitty before. She was in the chat earlier. She's doing some model building right now, some 3D stuff. So, yeah, so I was thinking we'd go ahead and do a Sensei raid over that way this evening here, and yeah, poke in and see what's going on out that way. So, but again, thank you for everybody who's been here tonight. If there's anybody new, we have a Discord that you can follow to keep up with things in between streams here, as well as Twitter, whichever you prefer. And as Nightbot was just advertising, we have a collab stream with Tia Dragon every Friday night as well. Goal for the rest of the year: become VIP. Fair enough. Fair enough. But yeah, so like I said, we're gonna be raiding Rebel Kitty X here, and yeah, it's been great fun chatting with everybody tonight, and hope to see you all again for our collab on Friday. So. Sleep, Gachi, sleep. Yes, I hear you there, and I will make sure to get some sleep tonight, I promise.